So one of the things we've learned in a couple years of attending the Transform Conference, my second year, Jeff's third, is that an important part of enterprise AI strategy is the analogy you use to explain your enterprise AI strategy. And so in that vein, we started talking last week about which famous duo we most closely resemble to go forward with explaining our strategy. So my first proposal to Jeff was that we be Batman and Robin, and we be AI-enabling crime fighters. But Jeff would not agree to be Robin, so we had to go elsewhere.
Yeah. So I was thinking more of a, pilot navigator theme. So for Star Wars fans, Han Solo and Chewbacca. But guess who didn't want to be Chewbacca?
I still haven't quite mastered that Chewbacca voice just yet. We also thought about polling you all to see what you thought about which duo we most closely resemble, but we were a little afraid of the results that may come from that poll. So we settled on Goose and Maverick, portrayed by Tom Cruise and Anthony Edwards in the 1986 hit Top Gun. But we still haven't quite figured out who's who yet. We may ask you all to help us figure that out here over the next 20 minutes or so. And while our story's a little bit different than theirs, we think it's no less exciting. In fact, we're going to do something that those guys didn't dare do. We're going to tell you about how our enterprise AI strategy is like a plane that's being built while we fly it.
So Top Gun, huh? So we're going to go with that one? All right. So as Joe mentioned, my third year here at Transform, and I remember being out there in the audience, just like many of you are now, thinking about what is our journey and how are we going to really enable our teammates across Nucor to really achieve the value. So today we're going to share that story with you, share our partnership, the successes we're having with C3, and also talk through some of our use cases and some of the experiences and things that we've learned along the way. The one thing we know is our journey is a little bit different than a lot of people, but a lot of the same challenges. And so you'll be able to see that, and I'm going to have Joe really just give you a little bit more background of Nucor and who we are. This really drives some of the tenet of our strategy.
So who is Nucor? To the markets we serve, to our customers, we're the largest steel manufacturer in North America. But who we really are is an accumulation of the collective efforts of the 32,000 teammates we have working safely across the world. Teammates from all nationalities and backgrounds. Teammates who, when faced with challenges, find that time and time again, they have the capacity to overcome those challenges while working together. It's those teammates that drove Nucor to $31 billion in 2024 annual revenue, making us the North America's largest steel manufacturer. We do it across 300 facilities, 31 operating divisions, and 25 steel mills, all making steel 100% here in the United States. And we make that steel with over 75% recycled content and 67% less greenhouse gas emissions. It's these things that make us the #1 North American recycler and steel manufacturer, giving us an industry-leading position in markets like sheet steel, plate steel, bar steel products, and fabricated steel products. And while what we do is important, who we are is what drives what we do. Now, Jeff and I are a little biased, and as we started talking about how to explain our culture to everybody here, we could already feel eyebrows raising a little bit. Here are two guys from this company explaining this to us. So we wanted to turn to an unbiased third party to give their perspective on Nucor's culture. And acclaimed author Jim Collins did just that in his book, Good to Great. And he described Nucor's culture using 3 foundational pillars of our culture. The first is a people-centered approach. Mr. Collins describes it as first who and then what. We hire and develop strong teammates that help us set the course for our strategy and not the other way around. It's a culture that fosters autonomy, fosters accountability, and it fosters innovation. And it pulls to the forefront our most important value as a company, the safety and well-being of our teammates. The second pillar Mr. Collins describes as a disciplined culture, one that's decentralized, one that is performance-based. We pay for performance. Further underlining that autonomy and driving innovation at all levels of the organization. And last but certainly not least, and more relevant to our story today, is our use of technology as an accelerator, not a driver. We don't chase the latest and greatest technological trends, but instead we find ways to use technology to pursue our culture, to pursue our strategy. And when we find the right technology that does that, we execute on it with the tenacity of a midsummer South Florida sun. We feel that a little bit today. So it's for these reasons that organizations like Fortune, the Wall Street Journal, Barron's, and Fast Company have recognized Nucor for our culture. And it's for those reasons that we've tailored our enterprise AI strategy to fit the needs of our teams and our teammates across Nucor. But this isn't a new story for us. This is just the next chapter in a story that's been told at Nucor for over 60 years. Started in the late 1960s, when after steel had been made the same way for nearly 100 years in the United States, Nucor built the first electric arc furnace mini mill in North America, using primarily recycled content to make steel, and initializing our advantage in terms of low-cost, sustainable steelmaking. But we weren't content there. In the 1980s, we built the world's first sheet steel mini mill in Crawfordsville, Indiana. And because of that innovation and because of Nucor's innovative spirit, over 70% of the steel made in the United States is made using electric arc furnace technology with recycled content at its core, making the U.S. the envy of the world as it pertains to low-cost and low-emission steelmaking. At the turn of the millennium, we found new use cases for automation and machine learning, furthering our commitment to our teammates' safety, leveraging technology to reduce the exposure that our teammates faced in the dangerous environments that are inherent with steelmaking, continuing to make us one of the world's safest steel companies. And now as we write our next chapter and continue to harness the power of machine learning and AI, we're finding ways to use supply chain optimization and process optimization to continue to innovate and add value to the hundreds of thousands of stakeholders Nucor has across the globe. And we do all that with our innovation challenge in mind. We put the power in the hands of our teammates, and we let them find new ways to improve safety, sustainability, and our low-cost operations. And I'm going to pass the gears now to Jeff, who's going to walk you through our enterprise AI strategy.
Thank you, Joe. Every time I hear that, it's just really great and proud to be a Nucor teammate. Fantastic company. So we wanted to make sure we do right by our teammates, do right by our company, and ensure our strategy is really built around our teammates. How do we enable, how do we empower our teammates to make the right decisions, keep each other safe, and deliver amplified business results? We wanted to make sure we have an enterprise-wide strategy on how we deliver these capabilities. We wanted to make sure we mitigate the risks. We don't have all the answers, all right, but we have to get started. We've heard that theme several times today. You can't wait. But we want to make sure we mitigate some of those risks, mitigate some of those blind spots. And at the end of the day, how do we allow our team, give the team more tools to really be that force multiplier across the organization to drive those results? So one of the areas that we've done is we've created a center of enablement. Yes, it has the COE initials. It's not just about being excellent. It's truly about being enablers across the organization. Focusing on three things: the teammate, how do we get them adopting, leveraging, comfortable with AI in their day-to-day jobs? We talk about how do we prioritize, what's a framework for us to prioritize which use cases we go after? I think Melanie and others mentioned we've got to go follow the money. How do we get the business results? And then we talked about our partners, C3 being one, Microsoft being another partner of ours. So our COE really builds out that partner ecosystem so that all of our teammates across the company really does not need to spend a lot of time understanding and learning all the new technology. So shifting over to some of the technology parts of our strategy, we wanted to build out and scale out our architecture. Data at the foundation, cloud, agility at our foundation. So partnering with Microsoft on this journey, and also now with C3, we know to achieve enterprise-wide AI at scale, in order to enable our teammates and our divisions, we wanted to give them tools that they can use easily and not have to worry about it. So as we prioritize and build out our use cases, we want to make sure that they can all work together, get that compounding effect, kind of generate that flywheel to truly amplify our business results. The C3 partnership, as I mentioned, started about 2 years ago, and we've been working really well with them through all aspects of our engagements. The accelerators, the tools, I'm really excited, Adrian, thanks for sharing that. The tools and accelerators that are coming are really going to drive us forward. But it's also their combined industry experience, their business knowledge, and leveraging the technologies and the tools that we have together, working very, very closely with us as a team. And being able to understand the business, bridge the technology and the business together, really focusing on value, follow the money, go get the money, and really adopting to our culture, that can-do attitude, that teamwork, right? Be able to bring that innovation. So it's been a great partnership. Looking forward to continuing that partnership with C3. So let me share a little bit about our journey, our use cases, and what we've realized along the way. You guys may recognize this curve, like a Gartner hype cycle. What we realize is a lot of our projects kind of follow this same curve in terms of excitement, in terms of adoption. So working with C3 and our COE team, we look at two main levers on how we prioritize. Where's the business value? Can we scale it across the enterprise? And do we have the feasibility, the technical feasibility, the business teammate readiness to do the job? So as we prioritize and get a list of use cases, we kick off our pilots with C3 flying the plane with us. They're working through a 3 to 6 month pilot. This is a minimum viable product, an MVP. We understand and define our metrics and our value that we want to achieve from it. And we go ahead and go live in about a 6 month time frame. Everyone's excited, everyone's happy, we accomplished, we're live in production. But then, as Melanie mentioned, it gets hard. The reality kicks in. We may have some data anomalies that we're working through. Teammates may transfer to other divisions. We may have some other anomalies in the process. But as we add those enhancements, as we build out the rest of the solution and not just the MVP, we as leaders have to continue to push, continue to give our teams what they need to leverage and adopt the solutions. And that's usually the next phase of the process. Coming out of that, where we are in many of our use cases now, is being able to scale and achieve that value. So as we roll the applications out to other business units, to other divisions, to other teammates, we're starting to really see that acceleration of value and achieving that value. The 3 use cases that I'll talk about today, we're about a year in, and we're kind of in that sweet spot of just coming through the hard part and really excited about the value that we're going to generate and create for the business. We started with production scheduling and optimization, and that was an easy win for us in terms of we had a strong business need and a business problem to solve. And C3 had a great application and accelerator to help us. And it was a good way for us to learn the partnership and build that partnership with C3. So we kicked that off. But instead of me explaining what we did there, I got a quick 1-minute video I'd like to show you.
C3 AI Production Schedule Optimization optimizes Nucor caster production schedules to improve yield, production planning processes, and the ability to respond to variable customer demand. Previously, planners and schedulers at Nucor's bar mills were challenged with tedious, time-consuming work to create caster production schedules. Each week, schedulers would manually review data from multiple sources and would need to balance multiple constraints and objectives to create a schedule. The entire process can take up to 7 days to complete for some steel mills. By combining data from 10 disparate data sources and leveraging best-in-class AI optimization models that balance production constraints and parameters relevant to each mill, the team has improved scheduled yield by 0.6%, reduced scheduling time by 98%, and better responded to changing customer demand. This application deployment has resulted in over $3 million in economic value across 3 existing mill deployments, with additional value expected as Nucor scales the application to additional sites.
I'm really excited, really proud of the work the team has done to get production schedule and optimization where it's at, but it's not done. We're going to continue to scale it across the organization. Another use case we're working on, we couldn't go down this journey without a Gen AI use case. So we're working with our building systems on leveraging Gen AI and some of the detailing work that they're doing. That's going well so far, and we're going to continue to scale that out across not only that buildings group, but across some additional product groups within Nucor. And last, the exciting part that we're extremely looking forward to is the value that we're going to get out of our supply chain and the demand forecast and inventory optimizations that we're doing. But I'll give this back over to Joe. It's his baby. He can do a real good job explaining it for you.
Now, Jeff, I think I heard you say this is the exciting part.
Yes, sir.
That makes me Maverick. We'll keep going and see if we come to a conclusion.
Yep.
So I am very passionate about our supply chain. Our supply chain is the accumulation of that strategy that we talked about, that Jim Collins described as first who and then what. It's an accumulation of our strategy that's built by our teams. And it's one of the largest steel-making supply chains in the world. And so we want to use that supply chain data as an asset to run alongside our physical supply chain to be able to continue to optimize and find value across our organization. So to do that, we broke our supply chain down into its core components. First, starting with money out. That's money we are paying to our suppliers for raw materials like scrap metal and alloys used for steelmaking. And then we focus on money in. That's serving our customers with world-class products and solutions. And at each step in the process, we are trying to find ways and believe there are many opportunities to add meaningful value in the seams of this supply chain, where the links of that chain take our products from division to division and from division to our customers. And so to do that, we're building a supply chain data and analytics framework that follows in lockstep with the physical flow of our material, starting with foundational applications, like the one Jeff is really excited about, demand forecasting. Moving to production scheduling optimization, inventory optimization across all of our divisions, and adding to that custom applications that fit our enterprise AI strategy well, tailoring solutions to meet the needs of our teams and our teammates across the world. And it's in that vein that we've also thought about insight delivery. And we've used the C3 AI application to do that. We've used native applications to our teams, like Power BI, to connect our teammates and more of our teammates to the insights that are being generated through the supply chain optimization suite. We've built scenario tools to help with planning for what-if analysis in an ever-changing and increasingly complex global steel market. And we're holding virtual and in-person office hours with our teammates across the company, which gives us valuable feedback on how to make those tools even better and provides an opportunity for us to truly unlock our teammates with these tools. In 2024, through this process, we allowed our teammates to work together more collaboratively. They found ways with AI helping through the supply chain process to spend more time together, proactively solving problems and collaborating together. They have more time to do that. And as a result, in 2024, we experienced a 6% uptick in our forecast accuracy 90 days out, which is the equivalent of about 1 million tons of ambiguity in our 90-day forecast. So meaningful gains through finding ways to connect our data and use it as an asset in our supply chain. And while we still have a lot to learn, as it pertains to the use of enterprise AI, we're really happy with how far we've come in 2 years. A few of those things include managing the hype cycle that Jeff talked about. How do we use our partnership with C3 AI to manage that hype cycle and generate early value? It's balancing Nucor's strong and powerful decentralized culture and focusing on our operating divisions while also leveraging the strength that comes from an enterprise AI framework. And it's establishing a core AI team to begin refining our teammates and our organization's AI capabilities. At this point, I think we've settled that I'm Maverick and you're Goose.
I'll be your navigator in today.
But I'm going to pass it over to Jeff here, and he's going to talk us through some of the lessons we've learned along the way in our first 2 years with C3 AI as a partner.
Yeah, so quickly, again, going back to change management, it's a critical part of what we need to do to enable our teammates. We got to bring AI to their processes, to their day-to-day, and not take them out of their day-to-day. So continue to focus on change management. The next is really about the value, right? We talked about capturing the value, being able to really understand what value means to you as an organization. For us, economic value is important, but we have to make it make sense for our team. So how does it impact our safety? How does it impact our production? And how does it impact our DC, our division contribution? And last and not least, data. Data is a constant change. So continue to invest in your data. There's silos of data across the organization. Find it, understand what your teammates are using to make decisions. Bring that data together and give them that access to that data in the application. So finally, our story's not over. We're making good progress on our current chapter. We have more chapters to write. We'll continue scaling out our applications, continue to leverage the capabilities of the platform and our partners, and continue to write that next story. I'm confident in our partnership with C3. I'm confident in our teammates' ability to leverage these tools and to innovate with these tools. And I'm confident we'll have a long and successful future ahead of us.